I know.
Thank you. Council President, this is your name. What's your pleasure?
I'd like to move on the resolution 516.
It's been moved and properly second. Do we have any further discussion on 0516?
Yeah, if I could.
Yes, you may. Councilman Martin.
I'm going to read this. It's going to be brief, but it's very germane to what we're doing here. This is from Joe Jenkins, the attorney for Northeast Ohio Sewage District, an inquiry from me. It says, from speaking with your law director, we learned that the original goal of the meeting, that was the meeting we had this week that I gave a report on earlier this meeting, was for council to vote on the city's signature of the stormwater service agreement. This agreement pertains to the Sewer District Regional Stormwater Management Program. That's what we're going to get ready to vote on now. The most important takeaway is that by signing this service agreement, East Cleveland will have access to its community cost sharing funds, and that can vary from $46,000 whatever. Okay, but here's the key thing. It says, in the case of East Cleveland, and I'm going to get the law director to say something about it, this money can be put toward to get the city in compliance. We're out of compliance with the Ohio EPA Phase 2 regulations. Okay? We strongly urge all of our member communities to sign this service agreement so they can access their cost share funds, but due to the EPA violations, East Cleveland Council approval of the service agreement is especially important. Now, this is the important part, so that you know that there's two parts of this. The green infrastructure, that's page inside and all these things that everybody's uptight about. The green infrastructure basins connected to the overall East 140th project are, for all intent and purposes, totally separate issues. They're two separate issues. Okay? So that's why we're not going to vote on that to Willa and everybody sit down and go through this. But this we got to vote on, or we'll be fine. I don't have a problem with this part. So I wanted to read that to you. If you want to see this, you can see it. Okay? Thank you. All right?
Thank you, Councilman Martin.
I got one more thing to say. I disagree with that. I agree, and I read what was in the information that the EAP gave. That money can go. The $46,000 can go for your engineer.
That's right.
Okay? That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, do what you got to do.
That's right. She's right. She's right.
She's wrong.
It could go for that or whatever, but
Anything.
Oh my
okay,
God.
but it's
Anything?
not what you complain about, what people up here about, and that's the basins. That's another issue. Okay, so I wanted to clarify that for you.
Thank you, Councilman Thomas, or
We don't
Councilman
want no part.
Martin and Councilwoman Thomas. That money can't be used for anything. We can't use it for the potholes, but we can have the pothole patch program. Before we move on, Mr. Mayor and Law Director, would you like to elaborate on this any further?
The 10,000. Please.
Well, this is the order from the EPA, and I'll just read briefly some of the findings. The director of the Ohio EPA has made the following findings. Responded that the city of East Cleveland is a municipality with a population of approximately 17,500 residents located in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. Stormwater from respondents' municipal separate storm sewer system discharges to Dugway Brook and 9 Mile Creek, both of which flow into Lake Erie. Dugway Brook, 9 Mile Creek, and Lake Erie constitute waters of the state as defined by ORC 6111.01H. Urban stormwater discharges commonly contain total suspended solids, gross solids, trash and debris, oil and grease, bacteria, heavy metals, and excess nutrients, which constitute sewage, industrial waste, or other waste. Placement of these wastes into waters in the state constitute pollution as defined in Ohio Revised Code. Ohio Administrative Code, Section, Rule 38-02 provides that no person may discharge any pollutant or cause, permit, or allow a discharge of any pollutant from a point source without either applying for and obtaining an Ohio National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System individual permit in accordance with requirements of OAC Chapter 3745-33. Going on, what happened was Phase 2 addresses stormwater runoffs from small MS4s servicing a population less than 100,000. Small MS4s, that's East Cleveland, were required to apply for permit coverage and submit a stormwater municipal permit by March 10, 2003. We submitted a request for a waiver on March 7, 2003 from the permit coverage. On January 5, 2011, the director proposed to deny our waiver, respondent's waiver request, because respondent failed to meet the criteria for granting a waiver. On February 24, 2011, a letter was sent to respondent with instructions for obtaining permit coverage. Respondent had options to either submit a notice of intent to be covered for a permit or to submit a MS4 co-permitting notice of intent form. We did not do that. On April 23, 2013, a meeting was held at the Ohio EPA Northeast District Office. The meeting was attended by the Ohio EPA respondent, the Cuyahoga County Department of Public Works, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health, and the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. At any rate, on December 16, 2013, Ohio EPA sent respondent a notice of violation for respondent's failure to obtain the permit authorization. On September 23rd and again on December 4th, 2014, Ohio EPA sent proposed final findings and orders to respondent, but received no response to them. On December 15, 2015, Ohio EPA made a presentation, and on January 19, 2016, the Ohio EPA met with the respondent law director, a councilman, building commissioner, and economic development director to further explain the requirements of the MS4 program and the actions the city must take to come into compliance. Right now, we are not in compliance, and there are certain orders that we must comply with. Now, this stormwater management program proposes to, for one, the district shall develop and implement a stormwater construction plan for the construction of physical improvements to the regional stormwater system and district, owned or operated stormwater control measures. Projects include the stormwater construction plan shall be related to the proper function of a regional stormwater system and may require separate project agreements setting forth the responsibilities of the district and the city. Any such projects are separate from this agreement. What this agreement allows us to do, the district shall facilitate, coordinate, integrate, and maintain other stormwater related services, programs, and initiatives, generally on a watershed basis. Next section, the district shall provide support to the city with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, general permit for municipal separate storm sewer systems requirements. For Phase 2, stormwater NPDES permit minimum control measures, public education and outreach, public participation and involvement at the city's request. The district shall provide funding. Okay. The district, I'm trying to get the information. The district shall provide funding to the Cuyahoga County Soil and Water Conservation District for services agreed upon between the Cuyahoga County Stormwater Control District and the district. So, this is an important part. The district shall provide the city with, if we sign this agreement, the district shall provide the city with community cost share of 25% from funds derived from revenues collected from the city from the stormwater fee through a district-established application process. What is happening is, on July 1st, 2016, your fees will be assessed. It's not a tax, according to the Ohio Supreme Court. In December 2015, the Ohio Supreme Court said that all the communities in northeastern Ohio shall pay a service fee. That means your fees will go up. However, 25% of those fees will come back. Now, before the lawsuit ended, $46,000 had already been assessed. We have that money if we sign this stormwater agreement. Further, it is projected that 25% of the fees collected will amount to $138,000 a year. I'm done.
Discussion closed.
That's a
Clerk,
good thing.
please call the roll.
Can I get some water? Anybody got an extra bottle of water? Oh, I need more. Thank you.
Yay!
Yeah, everything is wrong.
Counselor Martin,
Yay!
Counselor Thomas,
25%.
Counselor Graham, Counselor Vice President King,
Yay.
Counselor President Wheeler.
Yay.
Pass.
Which one is that?
They pass.
Resolution number, she said. Resolution.
We're gonna pass something.
Next we have ordinance.
I just got that from the agenda. That's what I see.
Outcome of 0516 has passed.
Before we move further, I think that everyone has this. And if you look at this on your agenda, Rule 24. Mr. Chief of Police, if another cell phone goes off, kindly escort that person and their cell phone
That
out
kind
of
of
the
power.
meeting. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Council Clerk.
You should have told me before they started to turn the cell phones off. I should have started the meeting with that.
We have ordinance number 01-26. An ordinance establishing and adopting hours for the regulation of new businesses in the service industry that seek to locate within the municipal boundaries after the passage of this legislation in the city of East Cleveland and declaring an emergency. Requested by Mayor Gary A. Norton Jr. and sponsored by Councilor Nathaniel Martin.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Martin, this is your name. What is your pleasure?
I sponsor ordinance 0116 and move for its adoption. Closing. Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'd
Councilman
like
Martin.
to have the law director and the mayor say something about this before we go on.
We haven't had a second yet. We have a second.
It was at the, we discussed it briefly at the meeting when we dealt with the Northeast Ohio Sewage District. It's about businesses closing at a reasonable time.
Do we have a second for ordinance number 01-16?
Right.
Calling once. Calling twice. Ordinance 01-16 failed for lack of a second. Died for lack of a second.
Have you guys read it?
Now,
Have you read it?
This is
I
I'm just
read
saying.
it, but it didn't get a second, so it
Yeah, so you have read it.
just kind of died.
All right.
They don't need to be
We will now move into remarks of the public.
Oh, this is great.
Requests of the public. You have 3 minutes